Welcome to episode 71 of the Talking Fires podcast. Ben Fadden here with you. Just a short episode here today, just about the GM meetings. And AJ Preller, he had some comments on Wednesday regarding Eric Hosmer. You can read, online about the other comments about Mackenzie Gore and CJ Abrams and Tommy Pham possibly coming back, and if a Joe Musgrove extension has started, which it has not. But you can read all that online or, on, I believe it's on 97.3, the fans' Twitter account, is Preller talking about that, the video of that. But I wanted to touch on Eric Hosmer, the comments Preller made on Eric Hosmer yesterday regarding a trade and the possible trade talks. And I think it's pretty clear that AJ Preller is lying in this situation to the media, because I think it's pretty clear that Eric Hosmer is not the solution, as it seems, as first base, as the first baseman for the Padres in a championship organization. He was asked about, the possible trade of Eric Hosmer, and he said, quote, "We see our team a championship team in San Diego with Eric as our first baseman. We sat down with him at the deadline and explained that ultimately we looked at all different ways to make the team better. We did have conversations about first base and then how to do that, and ultimately made the decision at the deadline last year that our best team and in the best situation for our organization going forward was with Eric as our first baseman." That's what AJ said yesterday to the media regarding Eric Hosmer. And now that's just an obvious lie. I mean, he can say that, yeah, maybe the best situation for the Padres, I can kind of agree with that. The best situation for the Padres is for Hosmer to be the first baseman in terms of the clubhouse, right? The chemistry and not getting guys mad at the front office and stuff like that. About, because Tatis and Manny, they love Hosmer. Tatis, thinks of Hosmer in a very nice sense, in a high regard, kind of as an older brother type thing. So I could see that it's, the best situation to keep Hosmer in that sense. But in terms of him saying that the Padres see their championship team in San Diego with Eric as the first baseman, and saying that, our best team going forward is Eric Hosmer as the first baseman, that just doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense. He's made millions and millions of dollars. He still has over 50 million, I believe, left on his contract. Through 4 years with the Padres, he just has not produced to any level. I mean, he's had negative WARs in multiple seasons. In Baseball Reference, I think he had 1 win above replacement this year. That's not what the Padres are paying for, and that's not good enough coming out of the first base position when that position is supposed to be slugging. It's supposed to have power, and that's simply not what we're getting out of Eric Hosmer. And it's just clear that through, just the way that he's played, through and through the roster construction, if they just construct the roster, the lineup differently, it can come through a very, very, you're going to get much better results, I think, production out of not just the first base spot, but and then in effect, kind of, as a snowball effect throughout the rest of the lineup. Eric Hosmer is just being a hole in the lineup right now, whether it's, the ground balls to the infield, stuff like that. I mean, the strikeouts, the power is just not there. 12 home runs in 2021. That's not good enough out of a first base power position, right? You just look at his WAR. Let's go to his WAR. In San Diego, 4 years in San Diego, his WAR, according to Baseball Reference, combined is 2.7. Tatis tripled that in 1 season this year. I'm not trying to compare Hosmer to Tatis and saying that Hosmer should be playing to the level of Tatis. I'm not saying that. Tatis is arguably the best player in the National League right now. What I'm saying is it's kind of embarrassing for a player who missed, 30 games, had a bunch of shoulder subluxations, to like triple your star, your first baseman that you're paying star numbers to, to have his WAR be a third of Tatis's, and you're still having him in the middle of the lineup, and he's making more than 3 times the amount that Tatis is essentially. That's just embarrassing, and that can't happen. It's really is unacceptable. And is Hosmer going to say it's unacceptable? Yeah, I think he has ownership of that. I'm not saying that he's not going to work hard for it, but it's just simply not there. The offense is not there. The defense has not been good. There's so many plays, bonehead plays. He just hasn't been as clean with the glove in San Diego. So my main point, saying that, this is just a short podcast today, but I was just kind of frustrated with Preller trying to say that the Padres' best team going forward is with Eric on it. That just doesn't make sense. And a big reason why it doesn't make sense, I talk about the roster construction and the lineup. If Hosmer gets traded, or even if he's benched, I get that's not a good look to bench $20 million, but if he's not playing starting first base, right? He's not at first base. You move Cronenworth over to first base, and at second base, you have Adam Frazier. You traded for Adam Frazier at the deadline last year, before the deadline, and his most comfortable position where he plays best is second base. Jake Cronenworth, where did he play in the All-Star game last year in Denver? First base. Adam Frazier, where did he play in the All-Star game last year? With Tatis on the diamond at the same time. Second base. So that's those positions, they prove that they can play those positions well. And if Adam Frazier is most comfortable at second base, he doesn't have to worry about defense as much, practicing defense as much as he did if he was going to play left field. I'm all in, because Frazier was not the same guy that he was, that he was in Pittsburgh when he came over to San Diego, before the deadline. And so I think getting Frazier comfortable, Cronenworth, we know he's a 25 homer guy. You translate that, right? You have Manny at third, Tatis at short, Frazier and Cronenworth at second and first. That's your best offensive lineup. I'm sorry, it just is. And then in the outfield, you have Myers, you have Grisham. And then in left field, either have Tommy Pham brought back on probably a 1-year deal, or you can, maneuver things in the free agent market, get a Kyle Schwarber, an Abraham Garcia, Jorge Soler, Jock Peterson, guys like that, to play left or to play right, or whatever that, makes sense more. But that lineup, bringing in a left fielder with power, that's a better lineup, because I guarantee you that outfielder that you bring in is going to hit more than, 12 home runs in a season like Hosmer did this year. He's going to drive in more than 65 runs, right? He's not going to strike out 100 times, hopefully. I would think that. It's just, in 2020, in a 2-month season, Hosmer hit almost the same amount of home runs that he did in a full season this year. 2 months last year, he hit 9 home runs. 6 months in 2021, in 151 games, he hit just 3 more home runs, 12. Most home runs he's hit in a Padre uniform is 22 in 2019. But then, so 20, you compare that to Jake Cronenworth, these last 2 seasons, right? These last 2 seasons, he only hit 4 home runs, but that he didn't play the full year because Hosmer didn't, get hurt till the middle of that 2-month season. But you go to 2021 here, he hit 21 home runs. So in Cronenworth's first full season, who I'm saying should be the first baseman over Hosmer, his first full season, he nearly hit the same amount of home runs as Hosmer's career season with the Padres. Cronenworth struck out less. He stays as healthy as Hosmer, and he made it to the All-Star game. Placed second in the Rookie of the Year in 2021. I don't think there's an argument for Hosmer to play first over Jake Cronenworth, and I don't think there's an argument to have Hosmer in the lineup over Frazier, to be quite honest. assuming that the Padres go out and get a power bat, because you're getting that power with that offensive bat. You can add in the DH probably too. That adds more power. And you're going to get your power production there over an Eric Hosmer. I just don't understand. Back to Preller, I get that he's the GM and he wants to instill confidence in Hosmer and he doesn't want to create all this buzz saying that oh, we're shopping Hosmer, but it's obvious that they need to. And to just say that their best team moving forward is with Eric Hosmer as the starting first baseman, that just doesn't make sense at all. He just hasn't. This isn't the Kansas City Royals Eric Hosmer that we're talking about, where he was producing, right? He was producing, and if that's who the Padres were getting, fine. I can buy that, right? He was hitting, with Kansas City in 2016, 2017. He combined to hit 50 home runs in those 2 years. That's not the same guy. He hit half that amount, less than half that amount in 2021 with 12 home runs. The Padres need more power, and if they can get it by not having Hosmer as the first baseman, which meaning that Frazier doesn't have to play left field and he can play second, allowing a power bat to be in left field, then they have to be all in on that. So those are my thoughts quickly on the Hosmer situation. We'll be back with more Padres content, talking about some free agency targets, some of the power bats that they could go out and get. But happy Veterans Day to everyone. Thank you so much for listening. This has been episode 71 of the Talking Friars podcast. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts at Talking Friars on Instagram and Twitter. Again, stay tuned to the YouTube, to all the social media channels. Ben Fadden here signing off. Until next time, let's go Padres.